folks are very, very committed to their horses, and it's not about the money. It's it definitely is about the horse. These folks are very, very passionate about their animals, and you know, to them, certainly well worth it.
Well, now I know Mike and Chris, they have their Clydesdales there, right?
Yes.
Do they get charged the same fee as the others do, or do you increase the rate because of the food that they eat?
No, they.
They get back?
I don't think they actually consume as much more food, but we charge them the same rate, and we're so delighted. I mean, it's the first time that I've known since I've been here that we've had Clydesdales in our barn, and they're like little rock stars, big rock stars, really. They're at the barn, so we're glad to have them.
Were any of them ever with Budweiser?
None that I know of.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Well, they're certainly beautiful enough to be there. They're really gorgeous horses. They are, for sure.
Well, it's interesting. Mike's a great client of ours, and you know, when you talk to Mike and Carrie, the reason they have Clydesdales were really out of an endangerment in the species that they were really lured into, and were attracted to the Clydesdale horses, and that's what led to the purchase. So, you know, they're very committed not only to the breed, but you know, preserving the breed. So.
Yeah. Well, he said, well, after all, I am close to 300 pounds. What else am I going to ride? So, on the opposite end, Federico, how much do you weigh? Just curious.
135 pounds.
135 pounds. Now, is that the typical weight of a trainer?
No. For jumping, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter?
It's just if you have a good balance and you have a good feeling, you can be big, small, skinny, heavy. Doesn't matter. It's just a balance and feeling.
So now when you say you train, are you training the humans, are you training the horses, or both?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
So what would it cost, like, say, to train a human? What do you charge them?
Well, it depends. If it's a regular client that has their own horse there, then we just charge for training. And like when I ride a horse, it's one rate, and then when they have lessons, it's a different rate. And the lessons can be different, like if they take a group lesson or they take a private lesson, it all changes.
We have clients that we consider show clients that actually go to a lot of the shows that we participate in. Fetty handles all of the show circuit there. We go down to Florida. We're in Palm Beach 4 months out of the year. A number of our clients will go to Palm Beach and compete for 3 months. 3 to 4 months we're down there. And then there's a show circuit that begins in the summertime. You know, those are clients that are very committed to showing. And then we have clients that are here in the summer that really opt not to participate in shows, but want to be at Wolfer and participate there and have private riding lessons. So it's a different level of clients that we have. Yes.
And how are the horses transported from here to?
Here by truck. Like even to Florida, they go by truck. Some people send them on a plane to Florida.
Planes?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But they fly all the time. They're like from Europe and to Argentina, everywhere they fly. Like it's very easy. They FedEx them to California.
Oh, FedEx?
Yeah.
You can FedEx your horse, folks. Amazing. You know, I always wanted to come back as a dog, but now it looks like I want to come back as a horse, and especially if I can be at Wolffers. Amazing. That is grand. It really is. FedExing your horse. Wonder what it would cost to FedEx your horse to California.
I think I would say 5,000, 4,000. Maybe not even that much.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, what you can do? Bob and I were always like arguing about putting Nicolette in cargo, you know, because her legs are so long. She doesn't weigh much, but her legs are so long, she can't go underneath the seat. So then, you know, I want to take her to California when we go out there, and he's like, you can't put her in cargo. So it's like an ongoing tug of war. But
with a horse, you have no choice. So.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and I think about all these show dogs that go to Westminster. How do they think they get there? And they seem to survive and kick up pretty well to be, you know, in the ring or their show place the next day. So
yeah, well, the majority of our horses that wind up at Wolfer actually come from Europe.
Oh, do
anyway,
they?
so they've got the long flight just to get over here. Yeah.
They're used to. They travel so much also now to go to every show. So they get used to. So it's something. And the planes nowadays, they don't move that much, so they're fine. Especially if they're going to a competition, you can tranquilize them or anything. So.
So Federico, tell us, if you're training a human or someone to jump, what are some of the tips that you could give them about jumping and training? What are some of the things you actually teach?
Well, you start like working on their position on the horse, on the balance. Is the most important thing is the balance, like not to interfere with the horse, just be part of the horse. So if they can learn that, then you start jumping. And basically the most important when you jump is like to make your horse jump from the right distance. So the horse has enough time to jump at, and the pace. So, but that's something you don't teach. People have to start, they have to get it.
It's a rhythm, isn't it?
It's a rhythm. It's
I
like
wonder, do you ever have music to go with them so they get into the rhythm?
We should have.
I just came up with a new idea. Great.
They do it in dressage, though. In dressage, they do with music.
So, excuse me there.
But
Get my mic back.
you teach them, basically all the basics, how to also work a horse and get your horse fit to jump, and because horses, they need to be fit, they need to be in good shape to be able to handle all the riding and the jumping.
You were talking about horses stretching. How do they stretch?
Just like us.
Really?
You stretch them when you ride them. You stretch all the neck and the back and the hamstrings and everything. And then you also, when they eat, like if they're in a stall, they don't. But if you see them when they're eating grass, they always stretching the neck and they're stretching the shoulders and naturally, yeah.
It's amazing.
And they walk and they do what they need. Like when it's cold, they run. But if you have them in a stall, they don't have any. That's why they get blankets. And if they're in the field, they don't need blankets or anything because they know how to deal with it. But if you put them in a stall,
they need a blanket.
But they cannot run or they cannot defend themselves from the weather.
Well, I was wondering, whoever grooms those horses, when I went there, and it was just like, spontaneous spring day, just popped in, the horses came out of there looking like they were ready for show day. I mean, they are so impeccably groomed, and I wanted to know how I could get the stylist to do my hair.
We can arrange that.
Okay, good.
We are really lucky
I
with
can use
those
some
guys.
help, trust me. That's great.
We even have a masseuse that actually shows up from time to time.
Oh, really?
And yes, treats the horses. So
they
truly get the spa-like treatment. There's
Yeah,
no
they get
question about it.
magnetic blankets.
Magnetic blankets. Tell us about that.
Well, there's like a lot of special things that you can use, just like in human beings. Like blankets and things for their legs, and then we put like ice boots and a lot of stuff.
I want to ask a question, and because it always hurts me, when you see a beautiful horse and it becomes lame, and then people will put it to sleep. Why do they do that? I mean, because now, we have treatments, people set their legs. Why can't you set a horse's leg?
Well, the problem is that you cannot keep them quiet. Just to, if you have to be in bed for 2 months, you do it, but a horse you can't. So sometimes if it's a very valuable horse, like it's a stallion or a mare that could be for breeding, but they hang them. But some horses cannot take it.
They can't take the confinement.
Some horses, they're very quiet and then they stay quiet. It's okay, but a lot of them, they don't understand. So they want to run, and then they hurt themselves again. And so they only put them asleep when it's impossible to cure them.
How important is it to establish a relationship with a horse?
Well,
I think she needs some water. Nikki, I'm out of my water. Maybe we need to get Nicolette some water. I think she's like saying, what about me, Mommy? You're not being very good to me. Normally we keep a bowl of water for her here on the set, but today we don't have that water for her. We'll get you a drink in just a few minutes, dear. It's funny.
It's well, it's very important to have a relationship and to know your horse and to know how they react. Like every horse is totally different. So some horses, they go to a horse show and they're really spooky because it's a new thing, and some others, they're just, they're used to. But every rider should know what to expect and how much time they need to ride them before competing or before showing or before riding them at home. Some horses are quiet, they don't need that much work. Some they're hot and they need a lot of work. So you for sure need to know your horse, what he eats, what he, everything.
I'm concerned, I'm just curious, because I think grooming is a part of that bonding process. Do you think that sometimes some of the owners don't get the full benefit out of their horse because they forego that experience? Can I borrow your water, John?
You can have my water.
Oh,
yes.
Nicolette, John's going to give you some water.
A lot of people think that that if you groom your horse will go better for you.
Yeah.
If you feed them and if you do all that work. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't have the time to do it, and some of them, they don't want it.
Ah.
But if you have that contact with your horse, that he totally, because the horse normally knows the groom more than the rider, because he's with the groom all day. And a lot of people think that if you do that, if you groom your own horse, if you spend a lot of time, he'll jump better for you.
And what was your favorite horse?
Oh, well, I had a lot of good horses, but with Christian, I had the one we took to the Olympics. She's expecting her 6th baby now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ah.
Her name was Who Knows Lily.
Okay.
And then
What
I had
happened to her?
she got injured in the Olympics, so she couldn't jump anymore, but she was breeding. And then another mare called Kaya. I won a lot with her. And then my first horse was called Achiral years ago. And I have a nice group now. Cool as Well and Crossfire. Cool as Well was the last horse that Christian bought. And another one called Crossfire that belongs to Herb Sambos.
Okay. John, one of the things that Wolffers does that I absolutely commend you so highly is all of the things you do, like this past weekend, that incredible event where you raised money for the East End Hospice and also for the
Peconic Land Trust.
Peconic Land Trust.
Right.
And it was such a beautiful event, and we loved that, every minute of it. And not just this one, I don't know how you do it, but it's so, we go to many, many benefits out here in the Hamptons, and you almost always have something that you've donated wine to, and so many charitable events.
Right.
And I just appreciate, and I want the whole community to know really just how much that Wolffers does for every charity, and you've just been wonderful. I'll set you up now. Everybody's going to come and hit on you. Sorry about that, John. But it has been really wonderful, and I wanted to give you a check for the East End Hospice for what you've done, and just to help pitch in, because you've just been so magnanimous in so many ways. And I would also like to say that anybody that wants to do a benefit, oh my goodness, have it at Wolffers. It was just, in fact, Bob said it was the finest event that has been in the Hamptons, if not ever.
Well, that's wonderful. Jewel, thank you. I mean,
Okay.
this was not expected today, but I greatly, greatly appreciated it. Obviously, this went to support two local community sponsorships that we have, East End Hospice and the Peconic Land Trust. It was the first annual event for the wine industry, really to focus on the wine industry, but our facilities really opened up to